go live. Where's my drink? Here it is. Hello, we are here at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, 1 p.m. It's Elena of the Witch's Box, where we get together here live every Tuesday to do an oracle reading for the week, and then we do a witchcraft Q&A, and we hang out and we just chat all things witchcraft. If you're here, say hello, tell me where you're at, tell me how you're doing, tell me how your Samhain was, because we just had a pretty big impactful weekend across the planet, because we had Samhain here on the northern hemisphere, and we had I think it was Beltane, right? Beltane was probably yesterday in the southern hemisphere. So the veils are thin. Things are, it's been pretty big, I gotta say. So I want to see how you're all doing. Check in, say hello, and we will get started. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, either live or on the replay, I get together here with you on Tuesdays to do an oracle pull, and then we hang out and talk witchcraft. So for the last, I don't know, let's say like a month, maybe, I have been pulling from this deck, which is a deck that I love. Let's see if it, there we go. Seasons of the Witch, Samhain Oracle by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz, and it was illustrated by Giada Rose. This is the last time that I'm going to be pulling from this deck. Probably maybe until next year, because after this, I'm going to swap this one out for the Yule version of the deck that they all created and put out just recently, I think in the last month. And I'm so excited to pull that deck out. I can't wait. Okay. Kay, welcome. Hello. Yes, thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much for the compliment. It's Mia Love. Welcome. Yeah, it's, can you see it? It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, I'm still, this morning I had a moment where I was curling my hair, I was doing the thing, and I was looking through all of like my scalp to see what, there's a lot of white here, and then back here it's a lot darker. But for whatever reason, I've been looking at myself in the mirror every single day, right? When you get up, you do your thing. But for whatever reason, today was one of those days where I was like, damn, that's a lot. It's a lot of gray hair. So yeah, thank you for the compliment. TR, hi, first time I caught this live. Wonderful, welcome, TR. We'll hang out here and we'll do all sorts of things. Thanks for the new glasses, the compliment on the glasses. So they're too small, I think, for my face, but if I keep my hair down, it's okay. I now have like 5 pairs of readers because I'm trying to figure out which one I like the most. So today we're trying this and see what happens. Hey, Lissam, welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right, let's get into it. Do I have any announcements? I don't have announcements, really. The book subscription books went out last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and I think some of them have already started to arrive, thankfully. The November Witches box is late again because of all the things going on the planet. So we'll start sending those out if I'm not, I mean, keep your fingers crossed. We'll start sending those out this Friday and through the following week, because we were waiting for something that was caught up at the port, and here we are. So that's really the only announcements that I have. The Dark Moon modules for the Moon Ritual Coven have already gone out. The new Moon Ritual Coven, the new Moon Ritual, well, the new Moon modules for the Moon Ritual Coven will go out today. They're a little late because I lost track of the calendar. I'm sorry. And I think that that's it. But let me really pause before I look at the card that I pulled to look at. Yes. Sorry. Elliot just sent me a text that I needed to respond to. But now I've turned it off. Okay, let's get it together. So tell me, let's talk about Samhain after this. But I did a shuffle before this because I just don't, I mean, I know that everyone loves the ASMR, but I didn't want to shuffle into the microphone. And I pulled this card out, and it was one of those cards where I'm like, really? Because this is like the card that I've been working on, but it's the card that I've been working on. And I was surprised that it came up in the reading for the community, but you got to trust it. So this is the card that came up. It's apples, 4. And I'm going to read this I'm going to read the card because someone asked me to read the card. I really, like I said, it just doesn't jive. I love the themes of these cards. I love the artwork, but the blurb never seems to fit, but I'm going to read it anyway. To taste, one must swallow it whole, and beneath the satin flame hides drowning waters. I mean, I can sort of get that. It's not what comes up for me with this card in most ways. So apples is a big thing for me, and I have been really working with this card because we've got at least two mythologies or stories around apples. We've got Snow White, right, who eats the poisoned apple. Her curiosity gets the best of her, and she's too trusting, and she takes the apple and she bites it, and she gets into a deep sleep because the evil witch queen, right, try to poison her, blah blah blah. So we know that story. The other story is Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and the snake tempting Eve to eat the apple. Now, historically, if you go back into more academic papers, we all say it's an apple, but there are stories, or there is a belief that it actually wasn't an apple tree. But for the sake of cultural formation, it's been an apple. That's been the story that we've read. That Eve was tempted to do something that God said not to do, and the snake tempted her, and she took a bite of the apple. And for that, she was forever cast out of this perfect paradise. I'm going to try not to make this a very long thing because I can go on and on and on about this for a long time. The reason why this card is so significant for me, and it's something that I've been working on for a while. There is the symbol, right? This beautiful round thing that is tempting. But some part of us and some part of society says, don't eat it. Don't have it. You shouldn't. In the story of Adam and Eve, it's literally the garden of wisdom and truth and reality. Like it is it is a truth that in some way, for whatever reason, God has said, you may not eat of this because the blinders or the haze that you have over your eyes will be gone and you will see the world for what it is. Now really sit with that, because that is a philosophy and it's psychological undercurrent in a lot of in all of Christianity, and I'm not quite sure how this plays out in Judaism because I'm not as well versed in the practices that are now part of that religious group, and there are so many different mini groups within that group. Okay, so I'm not even going to speak to that because I don't know. But this idea of you will be able to see the fullness of the truth, you should not, so don't take the apple, is an issue. It speaks to a very supported and very pushed ignorance and denial of what's there, and subjugating your or subverting your own inner wisdom to someone else's authority. Eve took the apple and she was able to see the truth. There's something about that. There's something about that nugget of wisdom that we need to pay attention to. It's not that she shouldn't have, it's that they all should have from the beginning. I took a class as part of my Samhain weekend celebration. I took a class on Lilith. So for those of you who are familiar with the story, Lilith was actually Adam's first wife, but she was not made of his rib. She was made of the earth as he was. She was his equal. And he wanted her to be his helpmate. He wanted her to serve him. He wanted her to lay beneath him during sex. And she wasn't having any of it. She wasn't having any of a secondary citizen or dominated position that he wanted to put her in. So she left. There was more to that story, but she was either expelled or she fled from paradise, and she went and did her own thing. Later, she's been depicted as a demon all throughout time, but that's a story for another day. But she left. Now, in the story where the snake in the tree tempts Eve to have the apple of, I think it's the tree of good and evil, of all things, there is a deeper feminine wisdom to this story where the snake isn't actually the devil. The snake is actually Lilith. But Lilith and Eve are the same person. It's that part of, and many, 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 many women today have understood this process, where you are brought up to be that traditional woman, to do the thing that all women do, to be nice, to be this, to be subservient, to do this. And we all, at some point, hopefully in our lives, reach a place where that just doesn't work. It doesn't fit. We are always chafing at this oppressive role that we're given. And some part of ourselves burns the shit to the ground. We either break up a relationship, we either rebel against a strict family system, we walk out of a religion. We burn a part of our bodies and a part of our lives, external, down to the ground so we can break free. If we look at this story spiritually, there is a world in which Lilith and Eve are just woman. And the snake is that internal, deeper, grounded wisdom that we never, ever, ever lose. It's always there. No matter how completely detached from it you are, it will always be there. There's something about this idea that the snake is actually her. The snake is a part of Eve's truest, wildest self that comes up and says, take it. You need to know the truth. You need to be free. You need to be liberated from the illusion of this garden made by God or made by man. So that's a lot. I don't even know that that's an oracle reading, but this is really what this card brings up for me. This is what the apple symbolizes for me right now. This is what this story is. And I think that maybe the oracle reading, okay, I just tied it together. Thank you. The oracle reading for this week is, we are right now, right after Samhain, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in a really liminal space between today and winter solstice. We're still in that place of, we can cross the threshold, we can cross the veil, we're doing internal work. This is the time to excavate, to do the deeper work. And we might butt up against those parts of ourselves that are still in active denial of our personal truth or the truth of our lives. Things that we are not willing to look at. We're too scared, we're too conditioned, we're too a lot of things. And so my challenge to you this week is to start looking for that actively, even though it's scary and uncomfortable, so that you can name it and claim it. Because we live in a lot of illusion. The world supports a lot of this illusion. And when we start to listen to that deeper, wilder, more primal truth teller within us, things can burn to the ground, but then you're so liberated, right? So that's the card. There you go. Apples. All right, so that is the oracle reading for the day. Let me look at to see what is happening here in the chat box. Let me have a little drinky drink. Oh my gosh, Julmar, thank you so much for the is it a super chat? It's a super something. Thank you. That's beautiful. And yes, decaf coffee for me. I'm so glad. Thank you. I so appreciate that. Someone somewhere, because apparently now YouTube is adding all sorts of opportunities for money, which is great, wonderful. Someone gave like a little thank you tip. I don't know who you are. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And all of this money goes towards the team, really. It goes towards paying everybody's salary and keeping us going. So I really appreciate it. Let's see. What have I missed here? Oh my goodness. Okay, I read that. Blessings to everyone from Irish. Beautiful. Nicoletta, welcome. I'm loving that deck. I'm drawing a card a day, and today I got the Black Cat. Beautiful. Number 7. Good Tuesday to you, Miss Julmar. Irish says, our earth is our natural sphere, and we are tempted daily to destroy her. Resist the temptation to follow the norm that continues to destroy our Mother Earth. Live sustainably, and you will save her. Yes, beautifully said. Thank you. Bianca says, I'm loving this. You're welcome. Angela Dillinger, off topic. I've sent an email to about not receiving the link. Okay, so Angela Elliott's taking care of that today. That's his task for today. So hopefully today you'll get an email, but I will also find a pen on my desk. Where's, oh, there it is. And I will, Angela Dillinger. Angela. So Angela, I'll make sure to send him a text too after I finish here so that you can get an email. Kim says, hi, off topic, but I received my mystery box yesterday and I love it. The strength card included in the box was the card I drew yesterday morning and again today. Beautiful. Those mystery boxes, eh? Oh my goodness. Kim Patterson, this is a different Kim, says, "Oh my gosh, you're speaking to my soul. Everything I've been feeling and going through the past couple of years. Thank you. You're welcome." It is there are quite a few books written about this process. This happens in particular to women. That's not to say that it doesn't happen to people of other genders. Um, but I'm most familiar with the process that women go through because I've identified as a woman all my life, and I've been seen as a woman. I'm woman presenting. I'm cisgendered, right? So I've had those projections and those expectations put on me since I was in utero, right? There is a very particular path, a psychological awakening, an emotional awakening, a spiritual awakening that every single woman who goes through it will go through, where you just can't keep the story going anymore, right? You can't keep the illusion going anymore. It doesn't work. And even though you don't know what will work and you don't know what is on the other side of it, we tend to burn it to the ground. Broken relationships, we leave work, we leave careers, we leave families. Because if we don't, we die. And I think about this story with Eve a lot. I think about it a lot because even though I feel like I have pretty much extricated myself fully from all Abrahamic religious influence in my life, it's still there. And I'm still doing that excavation of my own. Where just recently, because we read about the story from different angles. I've been reading about Lilith and I've been reading about Eve and psychology and Jung and all these things. And I'm like, what if they were all the same? Right? What if Lilith was the wild, true nature of woman? And then Eve is just the subjugated version of that. And the snake is that internal truth that says, you need to take the apple. You need to break free and you need to bust the doors open from this place and get out, right? How many of us have experienced something similar to that in our lives? So yes, I'm glad that it spoke to you. How you like them apples? That's cute. That's funny. Living proof and a good reminder. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Best interpretation of the apple card I've heard. Oh, great, Jessica. Thank you. Jamie, oh my God, I received my mystery box and it felt like my birthday. I thank you. Beautiful box full of awesome goodies. Wonderful. This is wonderful. Thank you. My first time. Oh, wonderful. How do I say your name? Is it Jamon? Hamon? I hope I didn't say it wrong, but welcome. It's good to have you here. Yeah, the mystery boxes are all sold out, as you all know. And they're fun, they're amazing. Sometimes we do it twice a year, sometimes we only do it once a year at the end of always usually in October. But we might try to do them again twice in 2022, but you need to be signed up to the newsletter in order to make sure to get notification about that. But we have a whole year before those come back. We still do have the mystery herb boxes. I might make that like a continuous thing because we always have a lot of extra amazing herbs lying around that need to get out. They need to be used. They need to be given to people so that they don't go bad. So we still have quite a few of those. I think we have 20 of those boxes left. And I may make some more just to make them ongoing, but that's what helps you kind of stock up your amazing apothecary, which is always exciting. Kim says, at first I fought this, but now I am all about creating what is for me today. It's very liberating to stand as myself, all of me. Yes. Yes. That is, I think that all women go through that, but I also think that it's an integral part of being a witch. We can only go so far if we're hiding, and we can only go so far if we're denying our truth. It takes a lot of energy to be in active denial and willful ignorance of the things that are really going on in our lives. And once we liberate from that, it's painful. Oh my God, painful, right? Because we have to end something. We have to crack it open and run away. I don't know that I've ever met anyone who regrets that. So there's that. I walked away from a relationship. I left some wreckage in my past, but I had to break free and get real about who I really was and how I wasn't fitting into those roles. It's like a fire that forges you, and it's an amazing thing. It really, really is. Long A. Okay, so it's a long A. So long A is A, no? So Jamon, like Jamin, only an O. I think so Oh God, jam on. Jam on. I'm spending a lot of time on this. Sorry. I'm really slow today. It's the decaf. Okay. Jumar says the psyche deems confusion even before conception when we are told that God is a man. Yes. And even the mother of Jesus has no say in his birth. Yes. We've really sustained a ton of damage because of that story all over the planet. It has affected everyone in so many ways. We need to look at it. We need to look at it and then cut it out. Just like get rid of it. And reframe it so that we understand who we truly are in that story. Jamie says, loving this reading of the Apple card. I took a class called Healing Eve with Anne Baring over the weekend, and so I'm in the same headspace. Wait, I think that I saw that and I wanted to take it, but I was taking something else. That's interesting. I'd love to hear how that was. And that's why I took the Lilith class this weekend, because I thought I need to add more information to the story. And the class that I took was really great because it went into just historically in the Torah who Lilith has been and was. So it gave me a little bit more cultural context. But the entire time, right? What the teacher, the instructor said in this class was that there is a notion, a whispering that maybe the snake was Lilith and not the devil. But I'm like, I think that all three of them were the same person. I think that psychologically, that's just the psyche. But again, these are all just intuitive hits. You know what I'm saying? So when I pulled this card today, I'm like, well, I'm in it. I'm so immersed in this that of course the cards would just jump out, right? Because I'm kind of just dripping in the whole thing. So like that. Let me drink some water. Tell me how else your weekends were. I'm kind of sad that the weekend's over. What did I do? I did my big ritual on Saturday. It was with a group that I haven't been with for a long time. So it was a very sweet homecoming for me. We honored our ancestors. We honored the witches who have come before us. It was a beautiful, beautiful, it was a beautiful ritual. It was really powerful and emotional. And then Sunday, I did a little thing of my own alone in the evening. But before that, my husband and I went into town. We had they had a Halloween parade and they had music. And so we did that. So that was a lot of fun. But I did spend most of Saturday in classes, which I thought was fantastic because I don't get to do that often. So it was a lot of fun. Bianca says, I would love to take that Lilith class. Who gave the course? So the course was part of the whole weekend of events for a group called Daughters of Diana. They are, I think, across the country, and they do different rituals, but they also have different groves. So they're kind of an umbrella for a bunch of different groups across the country. And so this was all on Zoom. They did all on Zoom. They normally do rituals in Southern California live, but because we're still kind of in this funky place with the pandemic, they did the ritual over Zoom, and then all the classes. There were quite a few classes throughout the weekend that happened on Zoom as well. And the teacher was called Hestia B. Was her name. Okay. So like that, yeah. And then this weekend, it's been a long time. I have been a ritualist for a very long time, 20 some odd years, 27 years maybe. And I know a lot of you have asked me about this, and I've been hemming and hawing like one day, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I've started a new moon ritual group here in Idyllwild, and because it's time to get out, it's time to be in circle. And for whatever reason, I just went through a long phase in my life where it's like, I don't want to lead circles anymore, even though, I've got the witch's box, right? But it's coming back. So this next Saturday is the first one that I'll be leading, and I'm very excited about it. And we'll be working with the new moon in Scorpio. That'll happen. I think that happens on Friday. Late night Thursday, depending on where you are in your time zone. But we're going to do it on Saturday because I needed to rent a space, and that was the availability. And as you all know, if you're going to do new moon work, you have time between the time that the moon goes new to a couple of days into it so that you can do that new moon spell work or ritual that you're going to do. So I'm going to be doing that this weekend and I'm very excited about it. We'll see how it goes. Jill Moore says, Sister Danielle Dulsky's body of work within her marvelous books certainly would nourish this topic, Women Most Wild. Yes. Everything that Danielle Dulsky does is amazing. Yeah, definitely. That's a great resource. For those of you who don't know, that's a great resource to grab. It's beautiful. Women Most Wild. She also wrote Seasons of the Moon and Flame, or maybe it's Seasons of the Flame and Moon. I think it's Moon and Flame. Amazing. And then The Holy Wild is also a really, really good book. So all three of those are great. And she also does quite a few classes or circles and ritual activities on her website, and it's thehagschool.com. So I also recommend checking that out if you're interested, if any of you are interested. So thank you, Jomar, for that reference. Yeah. For those of you who've joined, hello, I'm Elena of the Witches Box, and we get together every Tuesday at 1 o'clock to do an oracle reading for the week, and then we hang out and do witchcraft chat. Sorry. I think I spoke and swallowed at the same time. I did the oracle reading already, so you can catch that on the replay. And so right now we're just chatting about witchy things. So if you have questions, you can certainly ask them and I'll answer as many as I can. Okay. There's a lot of activity going on at the Witches Box today because my texts are blowing up, but thankfully everything is good. I'm trying to think. There's something else I wanted to share. The Moon Ritual Coven, the modules, I said that already. I said what I need to say about the mystery boxes. There is an email. I don't know that I want to say this here because I don't know that anybody here might be relevant to anybody here. But there is an email going out to those of you who are waiting on the Invoke Yourself group. So that's going out this week. And I think that that's it. Oh, and tomorrow, if you're not signed up for our newsletter, do register for that. I think that link is down below in the description box. There, for the most part, we share everything everywhere. So we'll share things on the newsletter and then we'll share things on social media. But there are a couple times a year where what we share in the newsletter is just exclusively for the newsletter. There's also, you get free Book of Shadow pages downloads that you can grab through that newsletter. But also what I'm going to be sending out tomorrow, because we usually send out at least an email each Wednesday, sometimes throughout the week as well. But tomorrow I did a tarot reading for our community for the year on Samhain, and I'll be posting that reading on our newsletter and sharing that tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. The link will be down below in our description box. Kim says, on Samhain, I did a purification and protection ritual. I created a floor wash, beautiful, out of the vinegar infused with fresh pine, and I created a window cleanser out of a spring water infused with angelica root. Beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. It's a great time to do a cleansing. Just kind of clear it all out. I love that. It is really my favorite Sabbath, right? I mean, I think that that's probably pretty cliche. It's probably true of everyone. But there is just something so comforting about the dark for me and the retreat. And I think it has a lot to do probably with, I don't know if that's true or not. It might have a lot to do with the fact that I'm a Libra, so I'm kind of a fall baby. But I also have Scorpio fairly strategically placed in my chart. So there's something about that just feels very comforting. And it's also that I'm an introvert, but I just, the rituals of this time of year, the cleansing of this time of the year, the connection beyond the veil that happens around this time of the year, it's beautiful and it's so intimate. Kim says the angelica root was from TWV. Thank you for all the great herbs. It's a family thing in our house. I love it. Yeah, the cleansing and the herbs. I'm glad that you really like the herbs. I do too. Every once in a while, I wonder, like, oh God, are we sending too much? But I feel like you can never have enough. There's so much you can do with these herbs, and they're a great quality. Um, so I love that you're doing a wash. I want to know more. So when you guys do things with those herbs, definitely post it wherever you post things, and then just tag us because I love seeing what you're doing with the herbs. And then you can also share with the community over on our forum, which is the free forum, the Witches Gathering. Although those of you who are part of the box also have your own forum, but share because that way you can all begin to learn from each other and get more ideas from each other on all the different things that you can do because there's so much that you can do. Jamie says, I participated in the meeting, the ancestors meditation on Samhain, and it was magical. I have been trying to astral project for the past 11 months, twice a month with no success, and it finally happened. Oh my God, that's wonderful. Congratulations. That's wonderful. And it's such a good time to do it. Like that, the beauty of Samhain, I think, in this time of the year, and this can also happen at Beltane, but there is something going on in the air. We're all vibing in that same place that kind of gives you that buoy that you need to like launch further, like a level up, right? That you weren't having before. I love that. Beautiful. It was beautiful and pretty life-changing, honestly. Thank you for that meditation. Now I'm excited to meditate. Wonderful. I'm glad we have a meditation convert. I love it. Jomar says it's such a comforting time of year. I cozy up with it to the dark mornings. I love the dark mornings. Love the dark mornings. Nicoletta says I made fire cider. Oh yay, for the first time. The whole family is super curious about it. Wonderful. Tell us, what did you put in it, Nicoletta? Because everyone's got their own little concoction. I'd love to hear what you put in it. This is a great time for fire cider. It's also just a great time for fire cider in general. Not necessarily just because of COVID, but because of the stressors of COVID. Like we're not out of the woods in terms of the amount of stress that the last 2 years have caused us. And that can definitely suppress your immune system. So fire cider every morning, like a little shot of fire cider, just kind of gives your body that extra oomph. It's always a good idea. And it also helps you kind of combat and hopefully make it through flu season without getting the flu. Although nobody seems to be talking about the fact that this is the second year in a row where we're having record lows of the flu because everyone's wearing a mask, which brings me to the thing where I'm like, I kind of always wear a mask now whenever I go to the grocery store, just because who's got time to get the flu? I'm not really interested in getting anything at this point. But fire cider can also help combat that as well, because not everyone is masking up, and so it can be helpful. Laurenberg said, I got my herb mystery box yesterday. I use it as a jumping point to learn more herbalism. Wonderful. I concentrate on the herbs I receive and learn as much as I can. Beautiful. Yes. Mimsy, who is showing up as Emerald, says hi. Oh my goddess, welcome. It's good to see you. Kim asks, what is your preferred tarot deck? Oh, Kim, this is a hard question. So my preferred, I'm going to show it to you because it's actually here. I got to take a little crystals off the box. My preferred tarot deck is called the Carl Rohrig Tarot. I can never say that last name correctly. It, as far as I know, is out of print, and it's been out of print for a long time, but maybe 4 or 5 months ago, there was a hint in the air. Elliot said that he thought that it was being printed again, but I haven't actually gone back to look. I've had this deck for over 27 years, 26 years or something. I don't know if you can see it. It is, do you see like the edges? The edges are all faded, dirty, bent. Like this deck has been through it. I love this deck. They are an unusually large size. So when I shuffle, this is why the sides are dirty. I shuffle from the side. It is a gorgeous, it's like unlike any other deck I've ever seen. I fell in love with it when I saw it in a shop. I don't even know where we were. I feel like I was in Big Sur, but I could be wrong. Or maybe it was in Carmel. I don't know. I was on a road trip with friends. But it is a gorgeous, dramatic, impactful deck. And this is the deck. This is like my soulmate deck, even though if you've watched the live like show and tell video that I did, it was live, I don't know, maybe it was a few months ago, where I went through and showed you just about as many as I could in 3 hours because we were on for 3 hours. I have a lot of decks. I love the artwork of decks. I love decks, and I will switch it up and I will use others. Like I love the Kim Kranz, the Wild Unknown deck. It's gorgeous, but this is the deck that I come back to over and over. This is my like soulmate deck. I love it. So some of the images are beautiful and sensual, and they're very collagey. Let's see. This is the Emperor. There's a lot of information. The languaging is English and German, and I think something else. He's a German artist. I don't know why they stopped making this deck. It's just beautiful. Here's a Prince of Swords. Oh, and this is my favorite. Hold on. This is the Prince of Swords. And I'll show you this last one, then I'll move on. But this is my favorite card because it's the card that I work with the most, the Empress. So yeah, it's a little different than what you would normally see, but it's my deck. It's my deck. Okay. I feel like my voice is kind of crack-a-lacking. Hey, Billy, welcome. Oh, thank you for the glasses. Yes, I believe I'm on the email list for you are, because I sent some out and a lot of people didn't get the very first one where I said that I had to postpone it for a while. So the official, we're going to do it, is coming out because I just had to take a couple months off after my mom and the whole thing. So awesome. Digging bulbs and planting garlic as I listen to you. Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Enjoying this beautiful late fall we have in Maine. Oh, I've been thinking a lot about Maine. Can I just tell you? Emran says books, movies, songs. Oh, wait. It moved. Here we go. Books, movies, songs, and tarot decks. Never can choose just one. I mean, right? Never. Nicoletta said, I experimented with what I had at home. I used apple cider vinegar, 3 onions, 2 white and 1 red, 2 garlic heads, mint, rosemary, 2 lemons, ginger, turmeric, 2 apples, honey, ginger honey, and cayenne pepper. That's fantastic. That sounds amazing. Oh, I love that. I've never added mint, but that might be a really great thing to add. I've done rosemary. Rosemary is really beautiful. Always turmeric. I'm a big turmeric girl. I've never done the apples. The apples might be really yummy. Oh, I love it. I'm sure that's going to be delicious. Emran says 3 hours of decks. Different even. I could talk for hours about decks. I mean, it was 3 hours. And at one point I'm like, I mean, how long can we go? We have to stop. And we never made it through all of the decks that I had. They were both Oracle decks and Tarot. And then we gave away quite a few. But it was a lot. It was a lot. Nicoletta says that Emperor resembles the Emperor from Foundation TV show. The actor is Lee Pace. Can we have a conversation about Lee Pace? We have been glued to the TV since Foundation launched. My husband has been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. He's been talking about this since I think a year and a half ago. And we're watching it and we're loving it. And but wait, you think he looks like Lee Pace? Where's the deck? He's the tall, the young, the middle one always, right? Brother Day. He's some kind of something delicious, I have to say. Hold on. Emperor TV show. Okay. My true is your master. I send angels to wage spiritual warfare offensively against all your demons and yourself. And okay, so listen. Have a wonderful life, and thank you for the message. Okay. And let's see. Bianca says, what is the Invoke Yourself invite? I'll tell you right now. Yes, please, Lee Pace. Yeah, Lee Pace is kind of delicious, I have to say. I love me a good tall man. He's like 6'5" or something. Okay, Bianca. There is a small, private, kind of experimental group that I invited to come together when we did our Sun Magic box. I think it was June or July. I don't remember. And it's kind of like it happened organically from the sharings that happened when we had that deep dive gathering for that box. And then it was supposed to happen in September, but my mom passed and I just needed to postpone and kind of put a hold on a lot of things. And now I'm ready to start that up. So it's really getting together and doing a specific type of work together for 8 weeks. And then later it's going to be a class or a module of some sort for people to join on their own later. So I'll open it up to the public in the new year. But I don't know where to grab you guys, so I have to send the messages out to everyone wherever I can because we're all spread out everywhere. I put it on like the forum, we send it on email. Whenever I'm live, I say it as an announcement so that I can get the word out. Nicoletta says, yes, the middle one. I am nodding while you talk as if you could see me. No, I do that too. Kim says, beautiful, wonderful. Yeah, we are a sci-fi family. So Foundation is a big, big deal. Um, the other thing that's kind of because we're also geeks and nerds, and Apple TV right now is just on fire. I know that we're supposed to be doing witchcraft talk, but here we are. Apple TV is on fire. There are such great shows on Apple TV right now. And one of the ones that I love that is not airing now, but just got signed on for 2 more new seasons, is not sci-fi, but it's total geekville. Mythic Quest. If you've never seen Mythic Quest, I think that it probably would only appeal to Gen Xers and younger, maybe. But it's a great, great show. Anyway, that's not really related to how hot Lee Pace is, but yeah, Foundation. There you go. Are there any other witchy questions or commentaries or things to offer? It's interestingly sunny today, and I feel maybe I'm super energized. Yesterday, someone in the Facebook group said that Samhain should be observed November 6th to more closely coincide with the astronomical midpoint between fall. Yes. My take on that is that I like to drag things out for as long as possible. So I'm actually in it since Sunday all the way through the end of this week. And also because we're now in the dark waning moon, to me, all of this is Samhain in terms of the energy. So I know that there is, I think it's like 15 degrees in Scorpio is when astronomically, that is truly what when Samhain is. It's not necessarily on the 31st. But I also like to do most of my Samhain work when the moon is waning and dark, because then you've got this confluence of energy that matches and is parallel to each other between the sun, who is now beginning to wane, because Samhain is a solar holiday. The sun is waning and the moon is now waning and in its darkest as well. So that to me is really a really potent, powerful time. So this whole week is that for me. It's not just the one day. Does that make sense? And if I'm being really honest, it's really it's really dictates the work that I do for the next month and a half until winter solstice. So even beyond the astronomical point where it's 15 degrees in Scorpio and the dark moon that coincides with the sun and all of this, it's just this entire time, because we're just really in a beautiful liminal space between one season and the very, very end of the year. People, I'm the only witch that says this. I don't know why, but everyone else out there is like, Samhain is a new year for witches. And it's like, I don't really feel that at all. I feel like this is still that we're in that drawing down, that very end, that last casting off. And then winter solstice for me is like the new year. And then I feel like maybe I'm wrong because no one else says that, but I'm like, that's my vibe. So for me, this whole entire period up until the winter solstice is that for me. Even though there are points along the way that are more powerful, right? With the dark moon and the astronomical point and all the things. Mars, I think, was July. No, I know. I think you're right. I think Mars was July and then the sun was in June. Or maybe the sun was... We had money in May. I don't know, girl. I don't know. It was in the summer. I have no idea. Because I'm like 2 months ahead. I don't even know what we're doing this month. Like, it's hard for me to track. Apple TV and the Oracle card was Apple. Nice. Oh yeah, there you go, Bianca. There you go. I wish, this is Emerence, I wish I could get Apple TV. None of my devices will work. Geek frustration is epic. Oh, I mean, it's an extra cost. Right now we're all paying for all these streaming, services. But it's really amazingly high quality TV. It's really like, what am I watching that just ended? Truth Be Told, epic. It's really, really good. Everyone's talking about Ted Lasso. My husband watches Ted Lasso. I don't know. I'm not really vibing it, but everyone raves about it. The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon is phenomenal. Like, epic acting, amazing writing. The nuance is amazing. Then you've got Foundation. What else is on Apple? Mythic Quest, which I think is just amazing. So yeah, but I get it. You have to be in the Apple ecosystem. So there's all these things going on. You have to be in the Apple ecosystem. Then you're paying for another stream. How many streams are we all paying for? It's insane. Lourdes says, finally, I'm able to join. Thank you so much for your live readings and the community. You're welcome, and welcome, Lourdes. Thank you for being here. Jomar says, I continue the comfort of this liminal time until winter solstice. Yeah, I do too. Jessica says, yeah, Samhain for the whole week. I can get into that. Totally down, right? I've been so unusually fuzzy lately, and I'm wondering what is going on with the stars or something. Everything off? I mean, it depends, Mimsy, on what your chart says, right? So what might be off for you might not be off for other people, depending on how it's transiting through your chart. It would be probably really helpful for you if you can get a reading. Kiara Stellar, who has done our reports on our website for years, she's available sometimes. She does readings. Who else does readings that I know of? There's a woman called Luz Astral, Luz. You can find her under that name on Instagram. She does readings for people as well. She's amazing. If you can hook up with Chani Nichols and get a reading from her, that would be epic because she's amazing. She's also on Instagram under Chani Nichols. Do I know of anybody else? I think that's all I've got, but it would be great for you because what you want is a natal chart reading and then your transits, like where the transits, I'm sure you know this, right? Where everything is moving now and how it's hitting your natal chart and how that's affecting your life. It's always a good thing to get a reading at least once a year, once every couple of years, to kind of see what themes are coming up and what's rolling around for you. Kim says, I feel like it's a completion at Samhain, like the cycle is complete. Yeah, and most people do. I'm just the weird one. Kate Justice says, thank you, Elena. I will have to sign off before 2 as I have my therapy appointment at 2. I don't get it, Ted Lasso, right? I'm like, and people are raving about it. I'm like, it's not my thing, which is fine, right? A little bit for everyone, but also yay therapy, go for it. Kim, it's a time when I feel very grateful. Yes. Nicoletta says, do you think it's possible to do a cutting the cord spell to let go of fear and worry? Yes. Or would it be better to do a different type of spell? Okay. You can do a different type of spell. You can do all sorts of different types of spells. But if you're going to do a cord cutting specifically, then the cord cutting wouldn't necessarily be a cord between you and fear, but the cord between you and what has caused that fear in you from the beginning. Do you know what I'm saying? Like where you learned that fear or what the story was that created that fear in you. So if you're called to do a cord cutting, that's the nuance or the refinement of what you're cutting that should be. So it's not necessarily just fear in general as much as if you go back far enough, where did that fear first get triggered? What was the origin of that fear? And cutting yourself off of that. If not, if that doesn't feel like it resonates with you, then don't do a cord cutting. You can do, there's all sorts of things. One of the things that we did this weekend, which I thought was really beautiful, is that we had super simple. We had a little bowl of salt and a bowl of water. And the salt, because the salt can represent so many things, but the salt would represent whatever you needed to dissolve that I want to let go of, I'm letting go of, right? So you would put a little bit of that salt in the water and then counterclockwise, you stir the water and the salt while the salt dissolves into the water, you are dissolving that grip or that hold on you, the fear, the anger, the whatever it is. So that's a spell and a working that you can do as well. So you can do different things to get rid of it. But if you're going to do something with cord cutting related, I would go back to where it started, and that's the cord that you want to cut. I have a weird light flashing strangely at me because my tech is funky, so we're going to get rid of that. Emerin says, I feel the same way, especially since Day of the Dead is November 1st. It's more of an ending and honoring than a beginning. Yeah. And then I just got my book box, Evo again. Woohoo! Yeah, so this is the second and probably last time that we're going to do Evo, the books, but these 2 books are really great. I think 1 or 2 of you have one of the books that were sent out already, so if you get a double, send it to a friend. But because one of them is on spirits and ancestors, I thought it was perfect for this time of the season. And then it was just an excuse to have him come back because he's just such a wealth of information. So yeah. Bianca. Bianca, thank you, Lilith, Elena. Now I need Apple TV. It's all about the Apple. Kate Justice says, also, I won't be here next Tuesday. My back surgery got scheduled or rescheduled for 11/9, so November 9th at 9 a.m. See you. So can we send you some like super speedy recovery healing vibes? If you feel comfortable with that, we will send you some love and some healing. Lissam says, awesome question. What was the question? Oh, yes, that was a good question. I'm a little behind on the reading. Kim says, maybe try a courage spell and you can even carry the strength tarot card. See, set your intention. Yeah, that's a beautiful example. Yeah, definitely. Wonderful. All right. What else can we talk about? What else is going on in your magical souls and lives? But let me remember. Is Angela still here? Angela, tell Elliot. Tell Elliot. Link. Just to remind myself. Nicoletta says, thank you, Elena. Since I don't have the clarity on what caused the fear originally working on it. The spell you described would be perfect for me. Perfect. Yeah, and then you can also, before you do the spell or before you even, just to give yourself some space and time, do a meditation just to see if you can go back and find the answer as to where it came from, because understanding that can also help to really potently unravel it for you, you know? Wonderful. Okay, so all who feel comfortable sending Kay Justice some healing energy for her surgery, please do so. You don't have to do it now, you can do it later, but next Tuesday, right, at 9 o'clock is when you're going to have your surgery, so we'll send you some love. I'm going to make myself a note. Okay. Justice healing 11/9. Okay. Boom. Yeah, you do. You've got this. It'll go really quickly and easy. Is there anything I want to tell you? I feel like I come to this and I don't have the right notes with me. I don't take notes to remind myself, but I think that the apple was a pretty big conversation. Oh my goodness. Winter solstice. I'm just kind of scrolling through my notes in my head. There will be, this is just kind of spoiler alert. December, the books for December are both going to be on sewing and knitting as a witch and the way we weave our magic into the crafts that we create. And my idea, actually, I don't know if this was my idea. I think maybe it was Elliot's idea, and then we just kind of got excited. The idea behind those books are that we are going to read them and then we're going to get together live at the end of December and do like a group live Zoom where we just talk magic while we sew and knit together, like a knitting circle, which I don't know about you, but makes me so giddy. I can't even stand it. So if you're not subscribed to the book subscription and you want to be in on that, the deadline to subscribe and make sure that you get the December books is November 15th. So if you want in on that, subscribe to the book subscription before November 15th, because that's going to be just so fun and so perfect for winter. I cannot wait. Spirit and okay, wait, I missed it. Emerin says spirit and ancestors is awesome to get because I'm beginning to think this apartment complex has something going on. It could. Nicoletta says, Elena, I'm not getting the emails either from the Moon Coven. See, that's weird. I have access to the site and that's good, but no emails. Check the spam folder as well. So, just behind the scenes stuff that may not make any sense to you whatsoever. When you sign up for the Moon Ritual Coven, you get two emails. You get one that's kind of a receipt that says, hey, thank you for buying this thing, and this is what you got. And then down on the bottom, it says, look for another email. And then you're supposed to get a whole other email with a very long description about where you access everything, how you're supposed to do it, all the things. There's visuals and everything. And for whatever reason, that got turned off. I don't know what was going on with our back end of the website, but I don't know if it was Angela that Elliot was talking about, but he said people aren't getting, they're not getting emails or links or whatever they need to get. So I went in and I reactivated it. That said, you have not been getting update emails when there are new modules, and that was our fault on our end, so we fixed that. So you will be getting an email today. So today would be by tomorrow. If you haven't gotten an email, then something is wrong, maybe on your end. But today, for sure, this is like the test email where I'm going to put new stuff on the site, and then I'm going to send an email out through this new little like notification system that we've got. And that should take care of it so that you get an announcement when things are live or added to all those modules on the Moon on the website. So hopefully this week it'll all be taken care of, because it's been, yeah, it just, I think in the last week we've gotten a couple of notifications that people are like confused and they're not getting what they need to get. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, Emerance wants to know what the time zone is. K. I think, aren't you in Vegas too? I get all of you confused where you are, so don't listen to me. Bianca says, currently reading Spirit Speaks. It's a deep book and I'm loving it. Everything he does is deep. He is just so thorough, right? With like, there are just so many details. I really, really appreciate his writing. Leah says, I'm so excited for the December books. Laurenberg says, +1 on the group knitting, sewing, crochet idea, right? Nicoletta, yeah, I never got the other email, only the first. Okay, so we need to send all that out. Okay, but wait. But Nicoletta, if you have connected to the forum for the Moon Ritual Coven, I have to picture it now in my head. One of the very first sticky forum threads that are kind of like I created has that entire first email in that body so that you can read it there, as well as a reminder, because a lot of people lose their emails once they've read it, as a reminder of how to access all the things. So check the forum out in the meantime, because I don't know that I have a way to send that email out again. I mean, I could try to manually, hold on. Nicoletta. Initial email. But yeah, check the forum, because there are two sticky forum threads, and one of them is that entire email that you were supposed to get via email, but it's all there as well, because it walks you through how to access the forum, but also how to access the modules and go back and forth. Sorry, Rachel Henderson. Yeah, I never got the email. Sewing and knitting, fabulous. I just purchased a new wooden sewing needle box. Oh, beautiful. Awesome. Rachel Henderson again. So it's one of them is Rachel Henderson, the one that she spoke of, the So Witchy, and the other is, oh god, something like Witchy Fabric or Magical Fabric. I don't know. No, that's not true. Weaving. I don't remember the name. I just, but the other one is more predominantly on knitting and crocheting. PSD. K is PSD. Okay, Meredith, welcome. That would be an amazing gift for some of my friends and family. Can we send December as a first-time gift for those two? Yes, you can. So if you're going to do we don't have a really sophisticated way to do gifting, so this is how you do it. If you want to do a gift, even if you are already subscribed, you create another subscription, and then you've got your billing name and address. But when you have the shipping address, you need to give the name and the shipping address of the other person. And then there's a little area for a note where you write, this is a gift for so-and-so from so-and-so. And if you don't want to gift them an entire subscription, then what you would do is immediately turn around, once you've paid for it, immediately turn around and cancel it, so they don't have an ongoing gifted subscription. Although some people have done that in the past where they've gifted someone else's subscription, but that's the kind of workaround, because if you wait until we have extras to sell, you may not get it, right? Because they sell out fairly quickly. Yes, I'm in Vegas, knitting, sewing, woohoo. Butterfly, hi Butterfly. I love the way Evo explains things. He makes it make sense. Yeah. Actually Henderson, but on the Las Vegas border. Okay. Yeah, no, but I'll definitely check Nicoletta, but check the forum to see if you can find that email there. And then from now on, you're going to get the emails that are announcements. Kim, I love that idea. I just started teaching myself how to knit and I'm in my 50s. I know how to do one thing, and it's the only thing I do. And it's like, I make blanket after blanket after blanket with the same like single stitch, but I love doing it. Okay, yeah, I guess two, that's right. Leah Weir says, Leah, okay, wait. Leah says, were there hints for the November box? That's the box that we're sending out now. This is the last. Oh, this has got a really beautiful thing in it. This is the last of the personal planetary magic boxes that we've been doing for the last 2 years. So we're doing Mercury, we're doing communication, and we are sending out. This is like the prize. I mean, we still have the beautiful custom made boards and talismans by Laura Ellison, but on top of that, I got these these blown glass calligraphy pins with ink. They're so beautiful. So those are in the box because it's all communication and words and connection. So that's the box that's being sent out this starting Friday through. We're late on this one because getting these delivered to us so that we can package them has been a little bit of a thing. We're just used to it now. So they'll start sending out on Friday through the beginning of next week, and they'll be going out. Meredith says, thank you for the workaround. You're welcome. Bye, Kay. Thank you. Have a good day, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Mimsy says, Kay, I'm probably in a baseball's throw distance from you. Wonderful. Okay. I love it. All right, my loves. If you have any last minute burning questions or comments, put them up now. If not, we'll start to like wind it down. Yeah, and it's a beautiful fall day out here today. I'm hoping that all of you have wonderful weather. I mean, I think all weather is pretty wonderful unless it's like sweltering hot and super humid. But right now it's amazing. Leah, oh my god, the box sounds amazing. I'm really kind of excited about this. This is one of those things where yeah, I'm excited. The December box is going to be very earthy. There's your big hint for December. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else coming down the pike. By December, not December, I'm sorry. How funny. I'm looking at the calendar in my mind's eye and I was looking at February. I wanted to say February, but I said December, but it's not December. By February, we will be relaunching Harvesting the Honey. We haven't had that open to people, I think, for almost 2 years now, which is really wild, right? Yeah, it's been 2 years. So Harvesting the Honey is being reconfigured and redone, and then that will be launching in February. I know a lot of you have been asking about that, and it'll be a much more streamlined process, much more information and ritual, and yeah, just jam-packed with a lot of information, but it'll just be delivered in a much easier, more sophisticated way because the way we had it before was just hard to navigate. So we're fixing that. And yeah, that's kind of what we had to look forward to. Everything else is kind of on the chill side for 2022. Emerence says, I used to make all kinds of things, but life got complicated and I just haven't been able to. So it's nice to be able to go back to, yeah. And this is just such a great season for it, you know, and working with our hands. And I always have loved the idea of each stitch, each knot. I mean, you can weave your intention into it in a really magical way. It's really beautiful. And it brings us, I think, into connection with the times of yore, right? Where people always gathered in circles and knitted and mended and sewed together, and there's a lot of magic in that. Nicoletta says, Emerence, baby steps and whatever nurtures you, even doodling or coloring book could work as artsy outlet. Yes, that's true. And I mean, I know that Mimsy has some serious creativity going on because she sent me these two beautiful bedazzled bookmarkers a couple of weeks ago for my birthday, which are beautiful. So I really appreciate you sending those to me. Layla says, hey, I just got here, I'm confused, is this ending? We have changed clocks in Finland. Oh yes, we are at the end. And you're right, Layla, I'm really confused too because my two of our team members are in England and they had their time change this last week too, and I thought, didn't we too? But we haven't. I don't think that we have our time changed until this week, maybe this weekend. So we are a little behind on the time changing. I wish that we would just eradicate this time changing for the rest of our lives. We don't need it, but it is what it is. So yes, sorry, we're late, or you're late, but not for any fault of your own. We haven't changed our times yet. Leah says, how much is harvesting the honey so I can save up? It's 333. And Emerin says, Nicolette, I did that. You got adult coloring books. I love adult coloring books. Meredith says, I have a sewing channel and I'm so excited to see their input on making my sewing full of witchy. Oh, beautiful. That's exciting. Emerin says, yes, more information on the harvesting the honey. I will. Okay, I'll give you more information on that. Let's see. I love anything stationary. Yeah, I mean, hi, so cool. It was like, and hi, I'm a booky girl, so getting one can never have too many bookmarks. So harvesting the honey is a 7 tiered, layered, magical class on increasing the flow of abundance in your life, but also increasing your relationship and your capacity to hold abundance in your life. And so the metaphor that it's kind of channeled through is honey and bees and the hive, and the nectars. So there are 7 nectars to the harvesting the honey that we go through, and each nectar is kind of like a module of teaching and a specific type of ritual or a specific type of working that you do to increase your capacity for abundance in these 7 different ways. It's an 8-week, well, no, it's a 7-month program. So it's long. And in the past, we did 2 cohorts for harvesting the honey. I think we did one in 2018, and then the other one happened in 2019. We skipped the last 2 years. And each time I did it, there's always reiteration. So I refined, I changed some things for the second time, and now I'm changing more things for this third, partly because it was sort of experimental. I didn't know how much it would work to do 7 whole months together online, and could it keep the energy going with the group. So I got feedback about it is too long to kind of keep it, but this is a lot of information. It's a lot of work. And so there was some feedback about potentially having everyone do it at their own pace, so that once you sign up, you get it, you do it at your own pace. We would connect and talk through the forum, and then maybe once a month, I would just I would show up for some sort of live Q&A as opposed to guiding through ritual. So we're still playing with that. I'm still playing with that because I want it to be something that you would all feel able to continue to engage in, because you have to do the work. The work is important, or else it doesn't work. But 7 months where you need to keep the container going, where people show up a couple times a month to do the work, became a little hard. So I'm playing with it. At this point, what it looks like is it's definitely going to be a thing where you work at your own pace, with a very strong recommendation that you do it at a very particular pace, where you give it a month each. And then I would just maybe show up, instead of doing specific module work with you all at the same time each month, we would just get together live each month to either do something spontaneous that I just kind of came up with that might support everyone regardless of where they were in the process, or it would be just a live discussion Q&A where all of you, depending on no matter where you are in that process, could come with questions and ideas and different things that needed to be discussed. So I don't know that you need to know all of that, but that's kind of where that process is right now, where I'm trying to finalize how we're going to deliver this in a way that's most impactful and where you don't waste your money, because it's very easy for all of us to buy into all these great classes, but then we don't finish them. And I don't really want that to be the case, because $333 is a lot of money, right? So I want you all to be in it. All right. I think I read all of that. I read that. I understand the earlier showing. Okay. So Elsbeth, you think we're earlier too. So we've lost a couple people. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm glad that we lasted long enough to at least grab a couple of those of you in Europe who are on a different time schedule. Let's see. Emran says, and I'm super excited about calligraphy pin in the box. I used to have a serious collection of nibs and ink. So yes, you don't need nibs and ink. Well, you have ink. We're sending you ink, but you don't need a nibs for this or nibs for this pen. It's really beautiful. And yes, Meredith, can you share your channel info with us? Jamie would love to somehow continue the conversation around Lilith and Eve. It's been so interesting to read and talk about and very liberating. Yes. I would love to do that actually. I have one book that I've read on Lilith, and there are a couple more that I wanted to get. So maybe that's something that we can do maybe a little deeper into the fall or early winter, because I think it is a really powerful conversation that would be really just rich and juicy for all of us. But I really love it. Elsbeth had the note. Yes, this is the other thing. Elsbeth, thank you for bringing that up. If you should probably, all of you, always have your notifications on. So whenever Emily sets the space for these lives, so like right now, the other kind of marker for the live that's happening on Friday is already up. There's like that little button that says set the reminder. Set the reminder so that you get a notification when it's coming on, so that way you don't miss it. But if we're on a weird time change difference, something, then you're going to get the reminder, so that way you know to be here. And I'd love to have you here because this is always amazing. So there you go. I think that's it. It's 2:10. I need to run. Thank you all for coming and for participating and for the amazing conversation. And on Friday, we have at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. I don't know what that means for those of you in Europe with your time change, but just again, you set the notification so that you can get reminded. Our meditation on Friday is based on or focusing on your true voice. And the secondary focus is on your throat chakra. So we'll be talking about that. I think that that's probably also kind of a unintentional, but still loose tie into what we were talking about today in terms of that snake and our true inner intuition and knowing. So like that. So Friday, 10 o'clock, be there. I'd love to see you, and we will meditate together, and then we will go into our week. That's it. Thank you so much. I love you all. Be safe, make magic, read books, all the things that we love, and we'll talk again in a few days. Bye.